Welcome back to the Bobcat Weekly Podcast. I'm here. It's me, Aiden Kuntz. We have
Brady Torsdahl.
And our normal host, Keegan Torsdahl, is currently out hunting because he likes to hunt, as you learned in episode 5. So we have his replacement today, Victoria Bender. And then our special guest this week, voice of the Bobcats, Keaton Gillogly. Right?
Yeah, you got it. I could hear the question mark as you said it, but no, you nailed it. That's exactly how you say it.
Great. Happy to have you on. Just a quick overview of what we're going to talk about this week. Football blowout win over Idaho State. Good win for the Cats. Volleyball took the Grizz in 5 sets. Great game for the Cats. Good to get that first win in the Brawl Wild series. Hockey season keeps rolling, taking 2 wins over the weekend over the Grizz and Montana Tech. We got a lot to talk about, so let's dive into our guest interview today. So, your first season as the play-by-play voice of Bobcat football and men's basketball was in 2022-2023. What was that like transitioning into recording for the Cats, and what were you doing before that?
Oof, it was a whirlwind, I can say that. I was working with the Modesto Nuts at the time in 2022, that summer. At that point, I had been still driving back and forth between East Lansing and Modesto, California, every season. I was kind of midway through the year and ended up taking the job at whatever point that was, middle of July or something. So I got out here like 2 weeks before the football season started, moved into an apartment that I hadn't seen in real life, and just set my stuff down and started learning everything I could and everything I needed to know about what I needed to know, and just kind of dove into it. It was definitely like drinking from a fire hose, but it was, and especially when I put it on top of the 125 baseball games I had done that summer, on top of the women's basketball season right before that. I mean, it was that was one of the more grinding 18 months of my life, and I crashed pretty hard by the time we got to April. But no, it was a lot of fun, and it was definitely a lot of work.
Yeah. So before you came here, did you know about the Cats? Know about MSU? I mean, how did this come up on your radar as a place to go?
Yeah. So I definitely known about Montana State. One of my good broadcast friends had actually called some women's basketball games here back in like the early 2010s or something like that. And then I was familiar with a lot of the Montana like minor league baseball circuit. So Helena Brewers, I had a buddy work there for like 10 years. I know some people have worked with the Billings Mustangs. Two different people I know worked with the Great Falls Voyagers. So yeah, it's a national company. It's Learfield that hires all this stuff. That's what the Bobcat Sports Property is. That's our group that does all the sales and everything. But I had been a finalist for a number of these types of jobs around the country, really over the last like 6 or 7 years, and this is just the one that happened to be the right fit.
Well, we're good to have you here. So, I know that sounded dumb. So what were you doing before? Like, did you have a specific like team you were calling for before you came to Montana State, or like was school specific?
Yeah, so before I got here that previous year, really the previous almost decade, so I was at Michigan State. I was doing their women's basketball games. That also included a radio show that was identical to Cat Chat. Mm-hmm. So I did that, plus I was bartending and waiting tables because I wasn't making much money and I needed more money. So I was doing all that, and I would do that from, whatever it was. I would get back usually like October. Season starts in November, and then I would go on and do, finish the season in March. Get in my car, drive west, get over to Modesto, California, and start the California League minor league baseball season in April, and then do that until mid-September or early September. Network and do as much as I could with some of the major league teams and Mariners. I usually would get up, get a couple of press passes, and talk to Riz and Goldsmith and Sims and all those guys, and usually jump on their pregame show, get some demo tape, and then head my way back and just kind of start it all over, go see my family for the first time in 6 months, and then get ready to put my head down again. So, I was just doing those two things I was at Michigan State for 10 years, and I was at Modesto for 9.
Wow.
After I'd bounced around some other minor league spots before that. So, I was just locked into that rhythm for about a decade before I got over here.
Yeah, so if this is correct, you play called for the Modesto Nuts.
Yep.
Talk us through a little bit of that, calling baseball, because, you're football and basketball now, so was baseball any harder, easier?
Yeah, no, it's definitely harder.
Yeah?
Baseball's the hardest thing you could possibly do at any point in any time. If anybody wants to get into sports, by the way, go work for baseball. If you go work in a minor league team for a year or two, I swear every other thing you do for the rest of your professional career will be easier. I've been in mascot suits. I have pulled tarp. I have sat on a bus overnight, got into a town at 10 o'clock in the morning, drop my stuff in the hotel, go to sleep maybe for an hour, get up, do the game notes, and then go right over, do the game, write the game story, go have dinner, go home, wake up, do it all over again. It was a lot. I mean, I ended up doing about 1,500, 1,600, I don't know, somewhere between 1,500 and 1,700 minor league games in my career. That's doing game notes and roster moves and social media stuff and writing stories and, I mean, just absolutely everything you can imagine. So, yeah, it's a lot. And baseball, man, it's a different beast. You know, Bob Costas once said something along the lines of like, you know, it'll take you a few hours to do this amount of prep for a football game, a couple extra hours for a basketball game, and it'll take you a lifetime to prep for a baseball game because you just never know what's going to happen, and everything is so different, and you got to know the game so intimately in order to be able to do it for 3 hours a night, and the ball is only in play for a couple minutes a night.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been watching, you know, with the Mariners playing in the playoffs right now. I've been listening to all the calls in it because I don't usually watch baseball. I usually listen to baseball. But I've been realizing just, like, all the pitches, having to see what the pitch is doing and then know what kind of pitch that is. I could never do that.
It comes along. That comes with reps, you know, and it comes with prep. You'll just go ask a guy, like, what are you throwing? You know, and you get a sense. And you know, the TrackMan read that prints out that posts in the stadium and stuff, that's like, it's mostly correct, but not always correct. I mean, it's just based off the velocity and then the movement, and then they throw it up there instantaneously. But yeah, you kind of just get a sense, and sometimes you're actually not really sure if it was which breaking ball it was. So there'd be times I would mostly say fastball or breaking ball, and you can kind of see the way it moves. But like typically, like, you know, a curveball is going to break 12.6, kind of that vertical break. A slider is going to be a little harder than a curveball, so you can kind of see that on the velocity, and that's going to break a little more horizontally rather than vertically. A changeup is typically going to have 10 to 12 miles an hour slower than your fastball, and that's going to have a little bit more of that kind of just like dip, which is similar to like a slider or even like a cutter. While a cutter and two-seamer kind of stay a little more horizontal but not as big as a slider. And then obviously, you know, fastball, we all know what that is. So, yeah, you know, you kind of just start to get it. And you know, one of the cool things about working in minor league baseball too is as you build those relationships, like, you can just I would just go stand and watch guys do their bullpen sessions, you know, just stand behind it in the middle of the afternoon while they're throwing stuff. They've got TrackMan on behind them. The pitching coach has it on the tablet right in front of them, and they're just going through it. And it's like, okay, I like that. Make sure you're closing your front side, doing this, doing that. And you can see it all, and it's just, that's when it really starts to illuminate, and that's the kind of thing you can kind of see starting to come out once you're up there in the booth.
Yeah. So it's my understanding, I think you posted a little bit about it on your Instagram. You called for Cal Raleigh for a little bit.
Yeah.
They're in the minors, and obviously having a historic season for the Mariners this year. So it's pretty cool you got to see him at such a young age developing. So
Yeah, and so Cal Raleigh, Logan Gilbert. What's that like, seeing those guys that you were calling when they were younger and seeing them, how they've progressed into being in the majors and seeing how they're doing right now and they're playing right now?
Yeah, no, it's awesome, man. That 2019 team was wild. I mean, it was Cal Raleigh, Logan Gilbert, Julio Rodriguez, Jared Kelnick. I mean, we just had so many guys, you know, and even before that, you know, because I was in Modesto from 2014 to 2022. From 14 to 16, we were a Rockies affiliate, so like Ryan McMahon, Trevor Story, Kyle Freeland, John Gray, like a lot of those guys came through in that time. And then the Mariners came over in 2017. Pete Woodworth was the pitching coach for those first 2 years. It was like his first chance to ever coach professionally. He had been coming up out of the college ranks and had done some other smaller stuff. But he was a really good dude, and watching him learn how to kind of coach. And his grandmother used to listen all the time, Bertie Woodworth, and send me emails during that. And then, yeah, that 2019 year, though, was one of the more memorable years I had watching those guys go to work. And you know, Cal really struggled at the start of that year. I mean, he was hitting like 215, 220 for almost 2 months at the start of that season. But he was learning how to do it, learning how to get through it. And eventually he kind of adjusted his hands a little bit and just went off and rattled off like whatever it was, 10 home runs and like 40 at-bats. And man, oh man, it was a beast. And the cool part about it too was not just what he did offensively, but the way he was working with that pitching staff. And we had a pitching coach by the name of Rob Marcello, who's been around and has done some other things with some other major league teams now these days. But he was dialed. He had that whole pitching staff continuing to get better, throwing with more velocity. And in 2019, so that'd be, 6 years ago now, that was kind of the start of a lot of the biometrics in pitching. So, right, if you're looking for, most major league teams are looking for spin rate and velocity. But how do you get that, And they used to say we can't teach velocity, but we can teach command. So that's why you would see in the minor leagues a lot of these guys coming in blowing out 95, 99, but they didn't know where the strike zone was. Well, it kind of started to turn. It seemed like you actually could teach velocity. So there would be little imperfections in the way you would drive to the plate, and if you could adjust the way you had that kinetic energy coming from your bottom foot to where that ball released out of your hand, you could actually add a lot of velocity. There were guys that added 5-6 miles an hour. We had one guy, Ray Kerr, who missed this last year due to Tommy John, but he's been up in the big leagues with the Braves now for the last couple of years. Left-hander, threw 100 miles an hour, and he was a guy who jumped like 11 miles an hour in his career because he added weight and refined his mechanics, and all of a sudden, boom, and now he's in the big leagues, recovering now. But that year was pretty special, and shout out Denny Hocking and Jose Umbria, the other managers, or the manager and the hitting coach on that team too. That was a fun year.
That's cool. All right, transitioning a bit from baseball. I guess it was during baseball, you were calling for Michigan State. What was that like compared to Montana State?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was a lot of fun. I loved East Lansing. I've made some of my best friends there that I'm still friends with today. I worked with some phenomenal people. I worked with head coach Susie Merchant, now retired, for 10 years. And I just, it was great. I mean, women's basketball at Michigan State is a really big deal. They were ready to go as soon as Title IX came through in those early 70s, and they had been playing a high level of basketball even before Title IX finally got passed back then, and people just fell in love with it. I mean, our version of Cat Chat, over there, we did it at a live restaurant similar to how we do it here over at Buffalo Wild Wings, and it was noon on a Wednesday. We did like 12 or 13 shows for the year, and we had 150 people there literally every week. I mean, just every single week. It was awesome. We'd have 10,000 people at one or two games a year. It was always a big crowd. Obviously, the rivalry with Michigan was intense and kind of eerily similar to Montana State, Montana. The MSU versus U of M, and there was a lot of similarities between the way these two rivalries kind of play out. But it was a lot of fun. It was cool traveling around the Big Ten. I'm from Chicago, so traveling around a lot of those schools was interesting because I hadn't really followed a ton of Big Ten stuff growing up. I was more pro sports growing up, but the Big Ten's intense, man. It's a big deal. It's a lot of stuff going on, especially for women's hoops, and especially with the additions of those West Coast teams now. But it was a lot of fun and a really special, informative time for me in East Lansing.
Cool. You spoke on that Michigan State Michigan rivalry. How do you think that compares to the Brawl of the Wild, and like which one do you think is more intense?
I mean, they're both pretty intense. Everybody's going to want me to say here that Montana and Montana State is the most intense rivalry in college sports, and it is definitely one of them. But I think it's hard to compare once you get to those top levels of your Michigan States, or your like Alabama Auburns or whatever. Like to me, it's all just like once you get to that top 1%, like it's just one of the greatest rivalries in sports. But I'm like. People didn't. I had almost no blue in my wardrobe. People just did not want me to wear blue at all when I was working at East Lansing. So when I got here, I was like, oh, okay, well, I got to get a little bit of blue now. I should. But no, it was something you were born into. It was something you lived, and it was something you dressed for. And it was absolutely everything. And it was your neighbors, and it was even closer. It was only about an hour and a half between East Lansing and Ann Arbor, and there was no big Continental Divide to drive over, so you could get there anytime you wanted. But no, it was it's very very similar, and it was just as intense as anything I've experienced, and the same thing here. I mean, this is as big as it gets.
Yeah. All right. So let's move into a bit of here. Came here in 22-23. What's it like transitioning from you were calling women's basketball before, and now you're calling basketball and football? What's like the transition like there from calling baseball to basketball to football?
It's not too much of a transition. I mean, I feel like I can pretty much call anything anytime. I mean, I've been calling games now since I started doing it in college back in like 2008. So, I mean, I definitely miss baseball these days. But, that's okay. It is what it is. So, yeah, there's not really a huge transition. It's nice to have some of the big-time football because I had some smaller packages of stuff when I was out in Michigan. So that's a nice addition. But, eventually I'd like to try to find a way to get some baseball somewhere in my life because for all of the greatness we have here, you got to have a fault somewhere. And I guess the one fault we'd have in Bozeman is we're kind of in a baseball desert. We're a long way from high-level baseball, but that's okay. So, yeah, it's not really too much of a transition.
Nice. Do you have something?
No, they want to move on to trivia.
Sure. All right. So our trivia question this week. This one's I tried to mix it up between being hard and easy.
Okay.
Because I've gone too hard and I've gone too easy.
It's a fine line. I've had to do trivia before. It's a fine line. You got to get it right.
Yeah. So, can you name the last 5 Bobcat football coaches?
Oh, no, I don't think I'd be able to. Obviously, Vegan right now, Choate before that. I don't know who was that Rob Ash before Choate?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then, and then I don't know who's behind Rob Ash. So I got the first 3, but I definitely have no idea.
Pretty good. You got all the way to Rob Ash, and then it's Mike Kramer and Cliff Heisel.
Okay, there it is.
So, good job there. You want to move on to our Instagram Q&A, Brady?
Yeah, so every week we'll put out on the story with our guests for Q&A questions. Got a good amount this week, so we're going to try to hit as many as we can. First one is from Caden Dowler.
Okay.
Who has been your favorite guest on Cat Chat this year?
Man, Caden was pretty good, especially having the Dowler boys on together. I do really enjoy interviewing the brothers together.
Yeah.
It was something that kind of just came together last year. I don't remember what the spark was. I don't remember if somebody said something to me or if Vegan said something or if I said something. But since Caden asked the question, I'll say Caden is definitely in one of the top 1% for sure. But I'm an older brother myself. I got a younger brother and 2 younger sisters. So anytime I can have those guys, I think it's just so cool and special when you have your brother on your team and it's a part of your family like that. It's rare to have 2 brothers who are similarly talented and skilled and be able to be in the same fit, in the same program, in the same place. I think that stuff is so cool. And win, lose, or draw, those are the things that you'll hold on to for the rest of your life.
And I think something a lot of people didn't know is how different the brothers are.
Yeah,
they're
that's definitely different.
So different from each other. Because I was there at Cat Chat as well, and I didn't hear any of, I didn't know who they were before, really,
right.
about them. So, yeah, it's kind of something you wouldn't expect, being twins, how different they could be from each other.
Yeah, and that's the point of Cat Chat, too. One of the things I love about that show is it's something that you get to know the guys a little bit more. We do the TV show, The Bobcat Insider, and I really enjoy that, and Grace Lawrence does a phenomenal job with the players. And in the studio, it's just a different vibe. It feels a little more professional. It feels a little more buttoned up, and we get really good stuff in that, and it's a different vibe. And then when you get to Cat Chat, it's supposed to be a little more relaxed and a little more who you are. So we'll ask a little more X's and O's and really hardcore football topics, although we also get into plenty of the human interest stuff on the television show. But there, it's just, you can really, I don't have as big a tight a time crunch, and you can really kind of work your way in and get some things out and let Bobcat fans know who they're rooting for.
Victoria, do you want to ask our next question on the Q&A?
Sure. This one's from Jill Kimball. Have you ever lost your voice due to excitement on the air?
No, I have not. And actually, this is actually kind of a common misconception. So if you, as a broadcaster, are coming away with a sore voice after a game, you're actually doing something wrong. So you should never have a sore voice after a game.
Really?
If you're sick, okay, that's a little different. But that means you're really straining your vocal cords, and you should never, ever be straining your vocal cords. You want to project. It's a little bit more like a singer. I'm not singing, but you want a lot of air in your voice. So you're speaking from the diaphragm. You're holding a lot of air in your chest, and you're really projecting, not screaming. So it's a very, very different thing. The other part about it too is, you're humming with the Focusrite right now, making sure everything is similar. So one thing I do is I'm actually trying to hit a similar point in my highlights, audio level, every time. So I'm actually really consistent in my normal talking voice right here, what we're doing now. And then when you get excited for the highlight, I'm actually hitting of something similar. So Dylan McPhail, Anaconda native, he's or Montana State alum as well. He's our on-site engineer. Sometimes you'll see him on the behind the mic feeds behind me. He's got the long brown hair, and you'll see him around a little bit. But he does a really good job. And so for him, he's trying to set our levels on the board where I can hit that highlight moment without it peaking or scratching or over-modulating, which is a hard thing to do, so that it comes through really, really crystal clear. So, because really at the end of the day, you can be Vin Scully, but if nobody can hear what you're saying, then it really doesn't matter. So, no, I do not come away with a sore voice, and I feel totally normal vocal-wise after a game.
Cool. Our next question here is from Carly Torsdahl. On average, how many flights do you take each year with Bobcat Athletics?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, a ton. Sometimes those basketball road trips are like 4 or 5 flights in a week. It's a lot. So what? We're playing 6 road games a year for football. So that would be 2. Let's call that 10 for math. And then for basketball, what we got? We're on the road every other week for 2 months. So call that another 4 weeks of travel. I don't know, on average, maybe what would that be, like 4 flights per week? So 4 times 8 would be 16, so that would be like 20 or 26. So somewhere in the range of like 20, and that's just conference. So somewhere around probably about 30-ish flights a year during the seasons.
Do you ever get tired of the travel?
I mean, I can be tired from the travel. I mean, it's a part of the grind, but at the end of the day, like, there's so many other people out there doing tougher jobs, more important jobs that are part of the fabric of our community and lives. And I mean, it's sitting on a plane and watching movies on my iPad is way easier than being a firefighter or somebody else who are around here who's doing things that actually contribute to our community.
That's a good point.
All right, this last question is from Nick Johnson. 1, what is your favorite sport to broadcast? And 2, who is your favorite player that you have covered?
Oof. All right. Favorite sport to broadcast is really whatever one's in season. So, like, at this point, whatever's in season, I want to be a part of. I want to call. I want to see. I mean, baseball was my first love growing up. That was definitely my number one sport as a kid. I think basketball is probably my best tape. I've done so many games at this point now. I've done 15, 16 years of Division I basketball. And I love the production of football, the build every week to the game and all the different pieces that go into it. The broadcast team we have, Leo Davis, Bobcat alum, Dan Davies, Bobcat Hall of Famer, another Bobcat alum in Dylan McPhail. And so just having such a team on our football broadcasts is a ton of fun. Favorite player, I don't think it would really be fair to pick a single individual player. I've gotten to know so many players, men and women, for however many years this has been, and I just appreciate the players that take the time to say hello, and they don't have to. When we're sitting around the airport at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever, like, I'm not here asking guys and players questions, That's a pretty off the record moment, when we're all kind of groggy or whatever. But I just appreciate the players, especially the younger players who come up on the shows or we talk to who trust me to take the answers they give and be able to put it on the air because they understand that that's what the fans want. And when they trust that they can tell me the truth and then tell me the truth they want on the air. They don't have to feel like they have to filter things.
Definitely.
Because at the end of the day, they're putting so much of their own hard work and their own emotional weight into this thing that I don't want them to feel like every time we talk it's just like, oh, that's about to go over the air now. So no, I just appreciate all of the trust and the respect I've gotten from so many different players and athletes over the years.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that wraps up our Instagram Q&A. Of course, if you have any questions, we'll usually put out a post the day we record, which is usually either Monday or Tuesday. And you can just put in questions. It'll say who the player is. And hopefully you'll get on the show. Moving on to our rapid fire questions here. These are the same questions we ask every guest each week. They're just kind of get to know the guest a little bit more. So yeah, we'll start here. Favorite place to eat in Bozeman?
Ooh, Brigade's been one we've been really enjoying. My wife and I like that place a lot, especially their $3.50 happy hour they have every day. So yeah, I mean, Bozeman's a low key foodie town for sure. I mean, my wife and I are still running through all the different restaurants. So I'll go with Brigade.
Good answer.
What's your favorite thing to do outside of broadcasting?
Backpacking, hiking, backpacking. Just got up as far as I could on Mount Blackmore yesterday in 2.5, 3 feet of snow. Yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, hiking, backpacking, and hanging out with my wife.
Sounds like fun. Yeah, backpacking is a lot of fun. I really enjoy that. Victoria, you want to ask the next question on there?
Yes. What's your favorite moment with the Cats so far?
Ooh, favorite moment with the Cats. Oh man. Let's see. Tommy Malot's final touchdown at Bobcat Stadium, the one he dropped the snap, hurdled the guy on the right hash, and found his way into the end zone, the Sunny Island end zone. That was definitely a moment. Rob Ford steal the 100th of his season to seal that Big Sky championship.
Yep.
The way that team just came together. Another underrated one was the windmill slam Raekwon Battle had in the game.
Yeah.
It was
I
tipped
remember
free. Darius Brown dove and knocked it out in front of him, and Raekwon grabbed it and just a full windmill. Man, oh man, that was something I hadn't had a chance to call in my career like that before. So yeah, I think those are some of the quick ones that come to mind. But it does feel like this team's going to have a couple this year that will end up in answers in podcasts a few years from now.
I'm pretty sure with that one, Darius dove for it and then just chucked it behind his head, hoping somebody was going to grab it. And Raekwon was right there.
Yep, yeah, that one.
All right. Next question on here. Who has been your biggest impact / influence in your journey so far?
I mean, my family for sure has been a big part of all of that. My wife, Coach Nicola, works with the Spirit Squad as well. She's certainly a rock in this thing. As far as broadcast people, the Cal League colleagues, all the people I worked with in the California League, Jason Schwartz and Zach Beyruti and all these different people that I worked over there have been paramount. And then Wayne Randazzo, I worked with him in 2013. He's the voice of the Angels now. He does the Apple TV Plus baseball games. That's cool. So we worked in Kane County together. He's been immensely helpful. And then Adam Amin, who was just calling the DS for Fox this week. We went to college together, so
that's cool.
He graduated 2 years ahead of me, but he and I have been trading tape for critiques of each other for, I don't even know, 10, 12 years now. So, yeah, those are just a couple of them, but definitely wouldn't be here without a lot of that. And then the Panda Tribe, the group I worked with at a lot of the restaurants and stuff in East Lansing. Those people definitely help keep me grounded. And one time, one of them, my buddy Kevin, I went and did a mock at a Detroit Pistons game to get some NBA tape, and my mixer just died on me. And so he stopped at a Best Buy and picked one up, dropped it off for me within 20 minutes of the game going, so I could plug it in, get it going, and then get my demo tape. So I had some NBA tape. But yeah, that's just one of many, many stories of guys like that and my friends who have come through when anytime I need to make a call.
Cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool to hear about that. How there's kind of that brothership of people who are in broadcasting, kind of similar to how it is in sports, where they kind of all support each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we listen to a lot of each other's tapes, and it's just one of those things where you just cross paths and you're just trying to help each other out, and it's a really, really small world of broadcasting.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, if you could have any other job, what would it be and why?
Any other job? Man, oh man. I don't even know. I haven't even thought about that in so long. I'm just so grateful to be doing this. I mean, I don't know. I mean, something like a civil engineering would be interesting. I am fascinated with how cities and towns are laid out, kind of an urban planning type thing. how that kind of works. I mean, my brother's an engineer. He actually designs football helmets for Riddell.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so over in Rosemont, living in Chicago. But yeah, I don't know that I would have the math skills for it. I never really tried, so I didn't go that hard. I can do quick addition and subtraction and some small division and multiplication, like when we're on the air and stuff. I'm really good at doing math on a clock, minus 60 instead of 100. I can do that pretty fast. But yeah, all right. For the sake of an answer, I'll go with some sort of like urban planning type thing. I just think it's fascinating the way we can build a community and how much it impacts and affects us. And being from Chicago, which is one of the architecture capitals of the world, and the way it's built out in the grid and just the way it's built is something I find interesting.
Cool. Victoria, you want to ask the next question on there?
Yep. What's your favorite place to go in Bozeman?
Ooh, favorite place to go in Bozeman. Actually, the park you guys are by. I like walking around that. That's a nice little spot. I have done the M Trail. I don't even know how many times, but I actually hate it. I do the shortcut almost every time because I'm usually using it at a gym. It's terrible. I don't like doing it, but I keep doing it. I guess really I love getting up into the mountains. I mean, I've tried to do almost everything I can do around here and then beyond. So I got my first backpacking trip up in the Beartooths last summer up to like Fossil Lake. I did Highlight Peak last 2 Thursdays ago, kind of before the rain got here or the snow got here. Did a little bit of Blackmore yesterday, waist high snow, which was sweet. So yeah, but just in general, it's just nice to go for a walk around here. You can see all the mountains, you feel the calm, and I love watching. I just love watching the way the weather rolls through here. It really makes you feel like you're actually in the mountains, and you can just see so much develop in the sky. So yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty outdoorsy, so just being outside works.
That's cool. Another follow-up question here: how does the outdoors here in Montana compare to what it was like at Michigan State? Like, was there similar things? Like, were you able to get outside?
No, not even close. Not even close. I mean, look, you can drive 6 or 7 hours north in Michigan and find some really nice forests, and there's some great lakefront along Lake Michigan. I mean, the UP is gorgeous, but again, we're talking 6, 7, 8 hours to get up there. Basically, the drive to Banff. Would be to get some really nice forest. Now in Modesto, we were actually like 2.5, almost 3 hours from Yosemite. So the first year in 2014 when I got to Modesto, our very first off day, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, drove to Yosemite, hiked Yosemite Falls, and then drove back, and then we had the game the next day. So I was going out to Yosemite like every opportunity I had when I was over there. So that was pretty close. I was able to get up there, and again, shout out my Cali colleague Jason Schwartz. We did a bunch of stuff. Our first backpacking trip ever was first ever night in the backcountry was on the top of El Cap for like a 4-day trip we did, which was awesome. But yeah, no, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't compare even a little bit.
That's cool. All right, next question on here: favorite song and/or artist right now?
Favorite song or artist right now? Yeah, I've been kind of bouncing around on some other stuff. There's this Bad Tuner from Brooklyn. He's kind of like a house artist, which has been really good. Big Wild just came out with a new album, which is solid. I mean, it's not. I like it. It's good. There's a couple good songs on there. He's got some other stuff that's really powerful that we listen to in the backcountry a lot. And it was interesting too because he actually said that one of his the ways he creates music is to try to create music that represents a landscape. And I was like, oh, well, that makes way more sense because we've listened to that a lot in the backcountry. And then Lupe Fiasco is pretty much always on my stuff. A lot of the Chicago lyrical rap is usually on my playlists.
Cool. So we have a question that we ask every player every week that we're keeping a current standing of.
Okay.
Brady, do you want to ask it?
Yeah. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
I mean, if you want to, yeah, go for it. Anything belongs on any piece of pizza. So, yeah, I grew up in Chicago. It's funny because people will actually try to bait me into trying to have a reaction about pizza. They'll be like, New York pizza's better. Or they'll be like, deep dish is lasagna. And I'm like, yeah, and who cares? So no, yeah, pineapple on a pizza, go for it. Yeah, I got no qualms. The pineapple and the ham, the Tastes good. Whatever you want. I'm not here to police what you eat. Put some pineapple on your pizza, man. If you like it, eat it.
I'll just state this again because you know who we're talking about, Carson Williams.
Mm-hmm.
We asked him this question, and he just went off on a rant about it. He said, pretty sure he said, anyone who puts pineapple on pizza is mentally insane.
It's a loud statement.
Yeah, he was an interesting guest. I mean, he's a lot of fun, and
Very
you can
entertaining
see
guy.
it out there on the field. I mean, he's going around, he's smacking dudes, and he's having a good time.
Yeah. I want to get in a little bit of recap.
Yeah, you want to talk about hockey?
Yeah, so hockey had a good weekend. They went 2-0, and they beat Montana Tech 15-1, and pretty sure we guessed 15.
Yeah.
We know that last time Tech played MSU, I think it was 20-0, which is ridiculously high for hockey. Few hat tricks for a few of the players, and then on Friday, Cats beat the Grizz in Helena 6-2. Goals from Isaac Ellington, Ben Sutton for 2, Wes Innes, Vincent Felt, and Hayden Clem. So glad to see him picking up a few more wins after the tough weekend prior.
Yep, good to see them getting out there, getting good wins, and beating the Grizz. Always good to beat the Grizz. Moving on to volleyball, the Cats beat the Grizz in an exciting 5-set match in Missoula, knocking off another number 1 seed, which is great. I love that. And again, beating the Grizz, which is great.
I think it was in the 5th set. The announcer said it was record-breaking attendance. They panned the crowd, and everyone just looked dead, which
Well, it was in Missoula, so
doesn't surprise me.
yeah.
Football had a great weekend. Blowout win against Idaho State. Very convincing for the team. Good defensive. Held them to 36 rushing yards. Then we picked up 570 total yards, 184 passing. QB Justin Lamson was 17 for 21. Dowler led the team in receiving yards with 45. 4 total receiving touchdowns. Rocky Lencioni for 2, Dane Steele, and Julius Davis.
Yeah, good to see them getting out there. And, I mean, Rocky had his first one last week, I believe, right?
Against NAU?
Yeah, that was his first career one. That sweeping little pop pass, yeah.
Yeah.
So then his first career multi-touchdown.
Yeah.
Dude, Justin Lamson, by the way, he was throwing out a lot of career firsts
Yeah.
in this game, right? So that was a career high for Lamson with the touchdowns.
Yep.
First career Bobcat Stadium score for Rocky Lencioni. First receiving touchdown in Julius Davis's career, so he had never had one. First career touchdown for Dane Steele, and then the first career multi-score game for Rocky. So I thought that was a pretty cool
It's a
one.
good show for the Bozeman kids with Rocky.
Yeah, no doubt. Always fun watching those guys who just came down 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good to see everyone out there getting good points. We had 386 yards of rushing. That's some Bobcat football right there. Good to see us getting a lot of rushings. And it's because we were up by so much, so we were able to get out there and run the rock. I love that. Adam Jones led the team with 173 yards and a touchdown. It was really good to see him getting out there and running over dudes. They had that one this just reminds me, they had one play where it was at the beginning of the game, he got a face mask called on or against the defense. And the ref came out and he goes, "The result of the play is a touchdown." And it was like on the 50-yard line. And it was just hilarious.
Misspeaks happen, I promise. Those happen.
Yeah. It was just
We all know what he meant.
Yeah, we all know what he meant, but it was just really funny to see that. We had 3 total rushing touchdowns for the team. Adam Jones, Justin Lamson, and then Patrick Duchesne, backup quarterback, getting in there. That one was right in front of us. That was cool to see him getting in there and scoring. It's always good when we can get the backups in, get them some good reps. And I've liked the way our backup quarterbacks have been playing. I mean, Duchesne he had that one interception against, I think it was Mercyhurst or San Diego.
That was a tough ball.
But that was a tough ball. And I mean, other than that, I've been very happy with both of our backup quarterbacks. So I am not worried at all in that situation. Defensively, we had 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions by Taden Gray and Brock Steele. And then 1 fumble, which was caused by Carson Williams, who we were talking about earlier, and it was recovered by Cole Taylor.
Yeah, very good defensive game played. Very happy with how the defense is looking. If you had anything to add on top of that, or
The peanut punch, baby.
yeah.
As a Chicago Bears fan, I loved that punch, dude. That was Charles Tillman. That's what I grew up on. I grew up watching Bears football where I thought punting was more valuable than scoring touchdowns. So yeah, give me all of that. That was awesome.
Yeah. I'm very happy with how we played this week. getting out there, getting good dominant wins. When we had that win against Mercyhurst where it wasn't amazing, but, I mean, we still beat them. It was good to see us getting back into the rhythm of how we played, like, against Eastern, where we're completely blowing teams out where we should be. Moving on to around the conference, Sac State beat Weber State 55-27. The Hornets had a good night on the ground, rushing for a season-high 397 yards, and they had 3 players with over 100 rushing yards, which is pretty cool. Cardell Williams, the quarterback, had 139 rushing yards with 3 rushing touchdowns. Jaquale Smith, I think is how you say his name, had 135 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Rodney Hammond Jr. Wow, my English is great today. Rodney Hammond Jr. had 108 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, plus a 99-yard kickoff return touchdown, which is pretty cool. Not the biggest Sac State fan, but, I mean, they did have a good win at Weaver.
Mm-hmm. On the unfortunate side of the Big Sky Conference, the Grizz beat Cal Poly 28-9. I will say that Cal Poly was leading into halftime, so it looked like it could have been a good game, but something clicked with Montana in the second half. They picked up 434 total yards, 177 rushing, 257 passing. Outscored, obviously, Cal Poly 28-0 in the second half. RB Eli Gilman ran for 123 yards with 2 touchdowns. And then Kenzel Lawyer had a crucial 21-yard interception return for a touchdown in the third quarter to get the Grizzlies on the board. So,
yeah. I mean, I feel like this is kind of how the Grizz have played all year. They kind of struggle to stay with teams in the first half. Something clicks in the second half. They go off and get back in the lead. I mean, we saw that against Central Washington.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that against North Dakota. We saw that against Idaho State. We saw that against Cal Poly. That kind of just seems like what this Montana team is doing this year. And, I mean, we were talking about their strength of schedule earlier this week. 'Cause I forgot who put a post out about it, but it was Montana State had, like, the second toughest strength of schedule, and the Grizz had, like, 30-something.
they weren't even on the top 25.
Yeah, it was. So, I mean, I feel like these are games that they should be blowing teams out when they're not, and it's kind of like, is this Grizzly team good? Or they've gotten good wins. I mean, they had the good win against Idaho. There's one more I feel like I'm forgetting. North Dakota, yeah. That was a good win for them. But, yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how they go. I mean, Cat Grizz will be interesting. Hopefully we can show out Missoula. And, yeah. Any more thoughts on that game?
I just think we're going to show the Grizz, who's actually a good football team to play. I'm just saying.
Yeah. All right, moving on. UC Davis, NAU. This was a good game. I was excited going into this game because they're both good teams, and I was interested to see who was going to come out on top. UC Davis won 45-24. Freshman quarterback Caden Pinnock threw a season-high 5 touchdown passes, 3 of which came in the fourth quarter. He completed 25 of 29 passes for a season-high of 348 yards. So, I mean, good win for Davis at home. NAU's a good team, and we played them last week. Good win for Davis. Both ranked teams right now. I think the rankings came out today. I haven't quite looked at them. Is NAU ranked right now?
Yeah,
they are.
Sitting like 17 right now?
I believe so. Somewhere around there.
And their only losses are to UNLV. No, that was Idaho State. I'm thinking wrong.
They lost to Arizona State at the start of the year.
Arizona State, that's the one I'm thinking.
Yeah, and then they rattled off 3 straight, including that UIW win at home.
Yes.
And then they lost to Montana State and UC Davis.
And they use it 21 right
so
now.
all ranked wins for them, or ranked losses for them. So, I mean, nothing terrible for them. I mean, they're a good team. I expect to see them in the playoffs this year, along with Davis. I mean, that'll be a tough game at home, the night game. Excited for that one. Bobcat Stadium should be electric for that game.
Yeah, and to wrap up the Big Sky games, Northern Colorado beat Idaho 49-33. Northern Colorado offense was doing really well. 482 total yards, 350 passing, and 132 rushing. Their QB threw 350 yards, and for 2 touchdowns, and the Bears had 4 rushing touchdowns. So good upset for Northern Colorado, and
Yeah.
good to see him get back.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been looking at this Northern Colorado team all year. I've talked about it a couple times. They've had a lot of close losses this year. I mean, they had the Colorado State one, which is the one that immediately comes to mind. I'm trying to remember what the other one was. I feel like it was the week after.
They won at Houston Christian right after that too.
Yes.
That was in overtime.
Yes, they've had a lot of really close games that not necessarily have gone their way, but they've had a lot of success. And Northern Colorado hasn't been the best team in the years past, but it's interesting to see them coming back. And good to see them get a win. I mean, in the Kibbe Dome, it's really huge for them and their program, kind of showing everyone that they are a team to be reckoned with. And I mean, they shouldn't write them off. I mean, I know that we definitely shouldn't write them off when we travel there in 2 weeks, I think, or is it 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks. Bye week, Cal Poly, then Northern Colorado.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like a lot of people usually write off that game, but I mean, that'll be a tough place to go play. At home, they'll be looking for an upset. We just got to make sure that we hold them and don't sell out in that game. What was that win they had? They almost beat South Dakota. That was the one I was thinking of. 17-20.
Yeah, South Dakota's definitely down right now.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Looking ahead, women's golf this week. They're in the final tournament of the fall season in Tulsa. They did well through rounds 1 and 2 today. Lost. Is that supposed to say lots?
Yeah.
Lots of opportunity to jump up in the leaderboard in the next few rounds. Cats hockey play at home this Saturday, the 18th, against the University of Providence. No football this weekend, obviously.
Volleyball, they are at Portland State the 16th. Then they go to Sacramento State, and then back home on the 23rd for Weber. And believe there's promotional bingo night going on. So you can buy bingo cards, win cool prizes. So better show out.
Yeah,
Win.
I know we'll be there. I think that'll be a lot of fun. It's a fun promotion to do. I'm trying to pull up the standings right now because, I mean.
Also to add, Lauren Linseth was just named Big Sky Conference Defensive Player of the Week, and Madeline Siebler was Offensive Player of the Week for volleyball. So shout out to them. Played really well against the Grizz, especially Linseth. Something clicked with her because she hasn't been like totally on, but something clicked in the Grizz game, and she just went off. So.
Yeah, and I was pulling up the standings here. We moved up to second in the conference right now. Weber State moved up to first because we knocked off the Grizz, moving them down to fifth.
Knocked off NAU.
And we knocked
the
off
week
NAU
prior.
the week prior. That was a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
We were at that one. So, yeah, we've had a lot of really good wins at home and away. Very excited with how this volleyball season's going. Excited to see where this team can go. Any more thoughts on that?
No? You ever called volleyball before?
Yeah, a ton. I actually traveled with Michigan State for like the first 5 or 6 years that I was there. So, yeah, I was doing all their Big Ten games on the radio. So, yeah, I've been to Nebraska and Penn State, Wisconsin, Minnesota, all those places. It's Big Ten volleyball is no joke. And that Nebraska
big deal.
place is crazy. They renovated their old basketball arena. So they built a new basketball arena downtown. Very professional level, feels like an NBA arena, honestly. And then they knocked out half the seats on one side of their old basketball arena for volleyball. Built like some suites. They've got a little hall of history, and then they built this huge, almost 360, standing room only up at the very top, above the upper deck. And so one of the things they wanted to do when they built that is they wanted to make sure that it had a higher capacity than Hawaii, because for the previous however many years, Hawaii led the nation in attendance for volleyball, and Nebraska was like whatever it was, less than 1,000 per match. But that was as big as their arena was.
Yeah.
So that was that place was electric.
And volleyball is just a bit different down there. They always play a game every year in the football stadium. It's always packed and sold out.
I've only done that once.
Well, they've only done it?
That was the only time. That was a first.
I'm thinking of a different school then. But
That was a first for Nebraska.
still, they had that stadium packed
Yeah.
for that game.
That is really cool. Moving on to high school athletics around the state. Gallatin lost to West 20-13. Close game. Gallatin was very good at getting to the red zone, but could not punch it in. we got to the red zone, I think, 4 or 5 times and just could not get we had to kick 2 field goals. We scored 1 time, but then the other times we either fumbled it or had a turnover and just could not get good scores in there.
But granted, on the other side, West is a difficult team.
West is a difficult team. If you're going to lose to a team, that's the team to lose to. So, moving on to next week finishing out the rest of their season. CMR beat Bozeman 27-21. Good win for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was at Bozeman, which is actually no, I know that was at Bozeman.
Yeah, it was here.
And that's a good win for CMR. They've seemed to be doing a lot better this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then Big Sky beat Sentinel in their crosstown rivalry 12-10. I think they were second and third in the West. So it's good to see. That was a good game. 12-10 is obviously an interesting score, but yeah. Moving on to game day picks for the week. So we only have 4 Big Sky games this week, so it's going to be a little less to go off of. But yeah, we'll start with our first game.
Just
here.
for reasons with the NCAA, we can't have you pick, but we can have you give insight onto the games.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. First game of the week, we have Weber at Portland State. Brady, what are your thoughts here?
I don't know. This is a difficult one to pick. I think it's going to be very low scoring, just based off of the history of both teams this season. But I think Portland State has enough to get the win there.
Cool. Victoria, do you have any thoughts on this?
Nope.
You got to pick one.
Okay. I'll pick Weber.
You picked Weber. Do you want us to do you like we did the other players where we have you pick based on mascots?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's a Viking versus a Wildcat.
Yep.
Okay. The Wildcat.
Okay. I picked the Wildcats.
Okay.
All right. I also got Keegan's picks from him before we did this because he obviously cannot be here, but we need him for pick standings anyways. So he picked Weber State. He thinks they're going to be a good team this year, I guess. Portland State, they've had their ups and downs. Weber State, they've been pretty good. Well, they've been good. It's at home. No, it's not. It's at Portland State. I'm really struggling right now. Okay. Weber at Portland State. Weber had a tough loss to Sac State last week. Portland State did they have a game last week?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I don't think they had a game last week. So they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this. I think Portland State pulls this one out. Yeah, give me the Vikings. All right, moving on. Idaho at Keaton, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, we'll see. I mean, Portland State's been trying to figure it out a little bit. They had the punt return touchdown against NAU, and they ran the football a little bit in that game. And then I know Weber State had Jackson Gilkey starting at quarterback, but he was struggling with some interceptions there. I think he was sitting at 9 or 10 interceptions. And I know they made a change at quarterback. I hadn't looked to see if Gilkey had gotten hurt or if they were just making a change. So I think last week was the first time that Gilkey did not start for them, and if it wasn't that, then it's just transitioning over this week. So I think Weber State probably figures it out. I think they just have more talent than Portland State, but yeah, Weber State's still trying to figure out that quarterback situation. So yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Cool. All right, moving on to Idaho at Eastern. What are our thoughts on this, Brady?
I'm just going to base this off of how we played against them a little bit. Idaho hasn't. Well, let me look up their record.
Well, so they just lost,
They
right?
lost to Northern Colorado.
Right,
yep.
but now so Joshua Wood was out, their quarterback,
Yes.
the Fresno State transfer. So he's got a knee injury, so that's what's been kind of banging them up. And I know last week Eastern had basically just Nate Bell start at quarterback, and I think we all kind of saw how that played out at our place. I mean, Nate Bell certainly looks like the guy who was giving him a really good chance to win. So I think if they keep with Nate Bell, they actually might have a shot. I don't have a ton of faith in Idaho this year, just because they've kind of gone up and down a lot so far this season. I mean, transitioning with the coach, a lot of transfers, they're going to be good. It's going to be a good program, but this is kind of one of those ones that I do feel like Eastern would find a way here, especially as they continue to get better. And if Idaho doesn't have Joshua Wood, then yeah, I think Eastern might be able to sneak one out here because they're getting hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think with it being in Cheney, playing on the red turf, Vandals coming off that loss, trying to figure some things out, I think Eastern will be able to pull this one away. Yeah. Brady, did you make a pick here?
No, but I think Eastern Washington's got it.
All right, Victoria, a vandal versus an eagle. Which one's better?
Well, I don't know what a vandal is, so I'll choose an eagle.
Do you want a picture of what their mascot looks like?
Sure.
Mascot.
Oh, no. The eagle.
Okay. So we all got Eastern there. And then Keegan had Idaho winning this one.
Interesting.
I don't know what his thoughts are on that. I should have had him send me more, but this is all I got from him. All right, moving on to our third game of the week. Northern Colorado at Sac State. Brady, what are your thoughts on this?
I think Northern Colorado had that convincing win over the weekend.
Yeah? They did, in fact. You don't have to think about it.
I don't know. I'm not good at picks, but I like how they're playing so far, so I'm going to take Northern Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, Northern, they came off that big win against Idaho. I think it's at Sac State. Sac State struggled earlier this year playing. I think they lost to Cal Poly at home, or was that
Correct.
a couple?
Yeah. They lost at home.
So that's a tough loss. I think Sac State, they will come into this, especially with Northern Colorado having just upset Idaho. I think they definitely won't overwrite this game, or write off, not overwrite. Wow, my English is struggling today. So yeah, I'm going to take Northern Colorado here because I think they're coming off that high at Idaho. Sac State haven't had the best season. They lost to Cal Poly. I think that Northern Colorado wins this. Keaton, you got any thoughts on this game?
I'm going to be fascinated to see if Northern Colorado can stop the run. Sac State's continuing to run the football a little bit more. They had a huge rushing performance against Weber State last week, and the last Northern Colorado game I watched was their game against Idaho State, and Idaho State really ran the football right at them basically the whole game. I mean, they ran pretty easily. So I don't know. I'll be curious to see if Northern Colorado can slow down that run game for Sac State, and that I think will be the biggest question in this game. If they can slow the Sac State run game, then Northern Colorado might have a chance. But at the same time, for Sac State, like, they're going to just keep getting better. When you have a new coach and whatever it was, like 60 new players, those are the kind of teams where maybe you see them struggle and they get beat by Cal Poly, which is a much improved team this year,
Yes,
by the way.
definitely.
Much improved. That is not going to be an easy trip going down there.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing where you start to see, though, these kind of teams start to get better as the season goes on. So, this one, I feel like Sac State's going to get it done. But
Okay. Victoria, it's a bear versus a hornet. They both like honey. Or, well, I guess hornets don't like it. I don't know.
that would be a B.
That would be
Yeah, I don't know what hornets like, honestly. I just think just making humans uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to choose a bear.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah.
What was Keegan's pick?
Keegan said Sac State.
Oh, well,
Yeah. We'll see how this goes.
gotta have a little variety.
Last game of the week, old University of Montana against Sacred Heart at their weird non-conference game in the middle of the season, which is confusing to me, but I'm sure there's some reasoning behind
Well, I
it.
think they had I think one of the non-conference games they had at the start of the year got canceled. Like that other team pulled
Oh,
out.
that makes
Gotcha.
sense why they didn't have a week one.
That was why. Yeah. So I think that was why they just they didn't have they were trying to figure out where they wanted to backfill. It was similar, I think, to the Stephen F. Austin situation we had last year.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Mercyhurst
Well, we had to get
coming.
Mercyhurst. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of why that happened. So it's all right.
Brady, what are your thoughts on this game?
I think it's without a question. I'm taking Sacred Heart. I don't think on the show ever I'll pick the Grizz just because of the rivalry. So
Yeah, I picked the Grizz last week, sadly. Well, I picked them, but I said they wouldn't cover, and I don't think they did.
no, they didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, the Grizz they tend to struggle in the first half. Sacred Heart, I haven't actually looked at how good they are this year. I haven't heard their names coming up anywhere, but I could be very wrong about that. But yeah, give me the Pioneers. Victoria, a Pioneer versus a Grizzly.
I know I'm not supposed to pick the Grizz, but I think I'm going to
Wow.
pick them.
Wow. Okay. It even says dumb up there.
Oh. Well, my best friend goes to U of M, so.
Wow.
I
All right,
don't know.
Keaton, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, this is a tune-up game for Montana, though. I mean, I'm a professional. They're going to take care of business.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yep, that's fair. All right, that about wraps up what we have so far here on the script. Later this week, I'm going to put out a smaller video about, because it's the bye week, we're going to do our mid-season playoff predictions. That'll just be with me, Brady, and Keegan. We'll go over. Me and Brady have our brackets filled out right now, and then Keegan's working on his. So when he gets back, we'll dive into that a little bit more. So stay tuned for that. And I think that just about wraps that up. Anyone have anything else they want to say?
I think we got a few players coming back who are injured. Taki Lulakepa is starting to practice again via his brother. So thank you, Danny. But yeah, I think that's all I got.
You guys got anything? All right. Thank you, Keaton, for coming on. You have anyone you want to shout out or anything?
No, I think I got all of them in. I got the Panda Tribe, I got the Cali colleagues, got my wife. I got pretty much everybody. So yeah, it takes a village to be able to be up here, and got all the guys I work with. I didn't get Brian Prevey for basketball, and Daniel Sally too. He does a lot of heavy lifting, the women's radio voice. You guys should definitely have him on, and he's doing volleyball on ESPN Plus too. So
cool.
He's doing a lot of those ESPN Plus games. So you guys should definitely hit up Daniel.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
You catch Keaton every Wednesday, Buffalo Wild Wings for Cat Chat.
Yeah, no show this week though.
No show this week.
No bye week show, no podcast for me. So I got no podcast, no TV, no radio this week for the bye week. But then we're all back.
Starting up next week.
Yep, and
we're
then
all
hammering it through. So it's all going to be out there. I try to put out as much content as I possibly can.
Basketball season moving to Ribbon Chop House, and that's on.
Yeah, that starts in January.
Yes.
So that's Tuesdays, right?
Tuesdays.
That's Tuesday. So Ribbon Chop is Tuesday nights at 6:30 for basketball. That'll start after the new year, so in January. And then so basketball, and then football. Football just runs through the regular season, but we do keep the TV show, the Bobcat Insider TV show, going for the playoffs.
Okay.
For however long we're in. So. Yeah, and then my podcast is out on Wednesday mornings.
Sweet.
Insider.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah. Go see Keaton at Cat Chat. It's a great show. Buffalo Wild Wings, great food.
Raffle
they always
prizes.
have raffle prizes, which is great.
And while I'm setting up, you can just come say hi. I'm plugging everything in and stuff, and sometimes I look like I'm growling, but you can come say hi. I'll keep setting things up when you guys come say hi. But yeah, anybody wants to come say what's up, I'm just usually trying to make sure everything plugs in, because really, frankly, there's nothing more complicated in live radio than doing a live remote like that to YouTube, to the in-house feed, and to the actual radio stations as well. So got a lot of things to plug in.
Yeah, that makes sense. And there's always raffle prizes, so if you even just want to go for that, they're always great.
And it's free.
Yeah, it's free too.
We've the running joke that we have in our group that goes is we win water bottles, because we've
3
won
weeks in a row
this year
already.
Yes, we both won. Both of us won a like the blue Bobcat water bottle.
The Nalgene's.
And then my dad won like the Cats logo one at the beginning of the year.
3 weeks.
I really do. Pulling those raffle tickets is kind of stressful. I'm trying to get in there.
Yeah.
I want to pull for somebody who came for the show. I don't want to pull consecutive numbers, but I'm not trying to look too hard at it. That's one thing I'm definitely still learning a skill at.
Yeah, but it's always so fun. It's a great show. You guys should show up. I think that just about wraps it up. Thank you everyone for listening. You can find our Instagram at BobcatWeekly25, I think is what it is on Instagram. And then on Twitter. So thank you guys for listening. And as always, go Cats.
Go Cats.